Right, hi guys, we're back at Loveclough. This is where we used to live, and behind us is Laneside Farm. Laneside Farm, I think it was about 1790, but it could have been early. There might have been an earlier one on the site. And it runs a good chalane here, swincher holes there, good chalanes behind at the start of it. I think they call it swincher lane. And that is a very old farm. And when we first moved here in 2008, a farmer called Ike Phillipson was living there, and it was on its last days really. So I did this painting here, and it's called Abandoned but Glowing, Loveclough, Rosendale. And I did did it in really bright colours. I'm not sure exactly why I did that, but you could see that there was a cow trailer and there was bits of old equipment lying around, because it was on its last days. And what happened since is that they sold it, and the developers then knocked down the old barn and built a new building on its footprint. They then put a garage and quickly converted it to a bungalow, and then they've built these, where there were some sheds, they've managed to build another 2 or 3 houses, so they've really developed it. And unfortunately this field that we're in now is under threat, and so is that field over there. Because Rosendale Council want to develop this land. They're under pressure from the government to build, and the government have made a directive now that if the local council say that area is good for building, it will be built on, which is pretty undemocratic, I think. But anyway, it's a beautiful piece of countryside. There's a theory that this might be an old Quaker burial ground, because it's an exactly rectangular field. And somebody once mentioned it to the local farmer, but there's no records at all of it. That tree over there is a very rare tree. That's a spindle tree, and they don't really exist often. And it actually sits on the ancient old lane that ran all the way up to the farm. So that is now just a rough track and bits of field. The bottom, the broad, I think it's called Broading, I think that was an old mill, a water mill of sorts, because there's 2 retaining ponds behind. Anyway, I digress. So this was my painting, and also, which I don't think I put on here, but it hasn't moved from the days since Ike Phillipson, there's an old hay rake in the field, okay, and we'll go and take a closer look at that. Okay, cut.